Today, I'm excited to be joined by our partner, Park Tool, with their Director of Education, Calvin Jones. Thanks for joining us, Calvin.
Great to be here and trying it out.
Brilliant. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been asking you to send in your questions on bike maintenance and mechanics. And well, Calvin is a bit of a guru in that area. And between us, we've managed to whittle those questions down to the most common questions and the most interesting.
The fun ones.
Okay, Calvin, one of the questions we've had time and time again, and you'll probably start to notice that triathletes really don't like wasting watts, and that is with the front mech and getting that adjustment right and those extreme chain lines. So this question we had in from PC Coleman 1982 said, how do we reduce rubbing on the front mech, or is that just something you should deal with?
That's right. And here, of course, in UK, we hate to waste watts. And what better place to save it than the home of Mr. Watt himself, James Watt, one of the giants. So we don't want this to rub. It has to be adjusted right. Sometimes it's going to rub because the manufacturers are exceeding the capacity. Doesn't mean you are. So we start with some basics, always down to the basics. So first, how far up and down? All right, so the height here. So we want this pretty much 2 to 3 millimeters above the top teeth. Way too high and too low, not good.
What would happen there? Throw the chain?
It would throw it off or shift poorly or combination. But on the rubbing part, most importantly, is the rotation. That's what we're dealing with here. So the bolts are loosened. You can rotate around the bracket. And we pretty much want it parallel to the chainring. Some do prefer it a little bit out. So it shouldn't be rubbing normally in our normal gears. So these two screws here are limit screws, and they're creating a box. They're creating a box that it can move in and then stop. So we don't want it to go beyond a certain point. We don't want to go inside beyond a certain point. So those are the limit screws. So assuming those are correct, we're still not done, because the tension or the pull of the cable, better way to think of it is pull, when we're up here at our shift lever, is it actually moving it over? Let's make a fake example here. Oh, I'm rubbing. What can I do? Pull the lever. Oh, thank you. Now it's quiet. A little bit of a joke, not always, because remember, in those hard events, oxygen's leaving the brain for the legs. It's my theory.
Yeah.
So what moves it is the pull of the cable. Another good reason for electrical. It's doing the work. You don't have to remember. So there are cases you hit a hill, you may want to come down to the smaller ring. Let's go down. And here we start getting chain line issues. So you have 11 in back. Soon we may have 12 in back, 2 in front. 24 possible combinations, not as far as the manufacturer is concerned. You don't really get that many usable gears. The electronics are interesting because they'll literally block out. Don't do that. They won't let you use that gear. But if it's manual, we're counting on the onboard computer here on top of the saddle, well, above the bars, we should say, to pull it back and forth to not scrape. Okay, so that can happen. Assuming, of course, the manufacturer has done their job with chain line. So we can see chains are flexible, right? So if you're pulling this over this way too much, it may scrape on the front chain ring. You come up a few cogs and it's quiet. That's probably the manufacturer's issue. Simply pick another gear. So, but if everything is set up accordingly, you should get most of the gears without rubbing. If it rubs, is it a big deal?
Well, on the subject of the gears and derailleurs, one question we get time and time again, and I'll grab this to read it out. This one came in from Matthew Ezekiel, and he said, how to adjust the B limit screw.
B, yes, right, we want it to be correct. So what do we do here?
So we're moving back a little bit here,
right,
aren't we?
let's have a look here. For a derailleur, we have the lower pulley, it gives tension. We call that the T pulley. The upper one guides. This is the most important one. It guides your chain, the G pulley. Okay, so our limit screws, H and L. And then the body angle, that's important here. So tightening and loosening that pivots this. If I tighten the screw, this is going to happen. What's happening? Can we see that in the audience there? The guide is coming down, 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 and away. Loosening, up, 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 and closer.
So if it's over tightened and we've got too much gap there, what are the issues we might experience?
This one is pretty classic. We have a pretty big gap here. So our mountain sisters and brothers vary a bit from the road and the tri. Generally here, you want that close, so that it shifts well. Let's grab our chain again and talk about flexibility. Okay. I am going to be this cassette cogs. You're going to be, you are now the G pulley. So you have to move left and right to shift up to me. No, yes, back and forth, back and forth. Look at all that flex. So let's move the screw looser. The shorter this piece of chain, the less slop, the more effective you are in moving.
Yeah.
So far away, whoa, that really has to move to shift. Really close, yes, less slop.
Far more efficient.
Yes.
Right, we're going to move on to something completely different now, and actually this is something I'm quite intrigued by and interested to hear from a pro. So this one's coming from Fatboy7. They've said, how do you properly maintain the bottom bracket? And then Passbauer has said, I keep breaking bottom brackets because I'm too strong. What should I do?
Well, I'll talk to my connections at British Cycling, and they're going to want to talk to you if you're breaking all those bottom brackets. So you may have some potential there. Or possibly Cytec or ATG for some proper training in your gear. So one of the two. So what do you do here? In the modern world, it's just mostly you ride it, you throw it out. You ride it, you throw it out. Maintenance in the old sense, we're not doing that so very much. There's very little that can be done depending on the bottom bracket. So we have several here. Very traditional thread-in style. This one threads in here. They put a seal over it to help keep out a lot of stuff. You can't effectively get this off without damaging it. They didn't want you to. They're clever people. They're saying, buy a new one. Come on. So we also have the press fit style. Let's hand that off. Very similar. So it presses in the bike, but again, there's this seal here. I bet we can get that out. Where's the hammer? Huh? Hammer? Yes. You're going to smash it up. Are you going to get it back in nicely? No. No. So again, this style, disposable. So away with that. This one, depending on the model, if you can get the cover off, the seal off, there is often a rubber seal on the cartridge bearing here. So here, if we can take a seal pick, we pry from the inside edge, not the outside, the inside edge. You can gently pry and lift that off. Oh, there are those little beauties in there. So here we can scrub with the toothbrush, some solvent, blow it out carefully, dry it, and then pack with grease. When we push the seal back in, it'll push the grease in.
So then on the subject of replacing and installing bottom brackets, now this is something I could probably admit to because I used to continually reinstall BB30 bottom brackets, and probably for a reason, because
that's a good one.
I was installing them incorrectly. I didn't have the tools for it. So I know this is a very broad subject. There's so many bottom brackets out there. Any advice you give people out there?
Well, the right tools for the job are important, and you picked a really good one, the BB30. So thread in. If it's thread in, basic rule of thumb. Correct tool, tight. You hardly can strip these out. It's a big thread, it's fine thread, so these need to be tight. The press type, well, you do want it tight. This is trickier. Goldilocks is important here. So there's no threads in the frame. We take this, if we shove it in by hand, no good. If it presses in too tight, it can literally squeeze it. BB30 is classic. It's a cartridge alone, and if we press it in, if it's too tight a fit, you're squeezing the bearings and they're gonna wear out.
Okay, well, next question in from Chris David. He said, how to loosen a rounded or strip bolt? And I've got to say, I know this pain. There's actually a couple of bolts that I've got at home that I'm a little bit scared. If I had to loosen or tighten them again, I'm in trouble. So I'd love to hear your recommendation on this.
Okay, this is gonna be your mom talking to you. You should have thought of that before you left home. So what are we talking about? Preparation when you're building the bike. So lubrication, which can be, by the way, sometimes a thread locker. It prevents rust and corrosion, or an anti-seize, or a grease, or at least spit on the stupid thing. Okay, so doing it right the first time. So let's get a little deeper into that and talk about the tools. We're trying not to ruin things. So a good quality wrench, and we want it in good shape. And we also want what's called good purchase. So there we go. It's going to go in a certain amount. Okay, so let's go. This one is a 4. Here, we're going all the way in. You'll see people, they're in a hurry. They just catch, oh yeah, that's good. I'm going to turn it.
Or there's dirt inside, so you can't fully get it in.
That's right. And okay, our tri-fence T for titanium. Titanium bolts, notorious for a shallow stamped head, a very difficult metal. Okay, so you want full engagement, then proper turning. So we're stopping it. So we've prepared the threads, we have good purchase. These eventually can wear out. There's really not contact 360 degrees. It's only on the corners. When they wear out, a new one. This is your rotor lock ring. So we'll have a tight shot. Boy, that inside is a mess. Proper technique, not on this one, or a bad fitting, the wrong tool.
Now this actually happens a lot, I'd say, for triathletes when we're traveling with our TT bikes. We've got to take our tri-bars off quite often. And quite often, the bolts they use here, I don't know whether it's just the material they're using, but they seem to thread, or sort of, they lose that grip on them quite quickly. So I'm very interested to hear what the solution is.
Number one is always slow down. I know a triathlete doesn't want to hear that. Slow down. So if one is ruined, this is a tough one. This was an easier one. Okay, so here, good pressure as you turn, and also heat. Some mild heat can move things in there. Okay, so you get expansion.
What happens in the case that it's completely rounded and you can't get any purchase on that bolt?
Well,
you're in trouble.
Who are we? We're going to use our professional mechanics, and what we're going to do, my sisters and brothers are the pros, is get a left-handed drill bit. Left-handed, as crazy thing as this, it drills anti-clockwise and puts a hole in it, but as it drills, it tends to back things out. It's a sweet trick.
So what we're saying on this one is probably at that point, take it to your bike shop.
You got it. Yes, you got to take it to the pros. Take it to the bike shop. Let them give you the lecture.
Okay, Calvin. Now for a bit of a quick fire. So we've had quite a lot on cleaning as well. So how often and how should I clean/lube my chain? That came from Car Hal Nawal. And following on from that, are there any downsides to cleaning your bike and chain too often? I've heard this from people, but maybe it's just an excuse.
Right. So one of the purposes of Park Tool is to get us to work on our bikes and clean our bikes all the time and never ever ride. So always clean your bike. Well, not true. I think honestly people clean a bit too much. Every once in a while is good. A big race to get you excited is nice. But the important bits, the chain is a good example. This is not an eating utensil. It doesn't need to be clean. And we can see it, it's visible. So think of it like this. We want to pull the dipstick out of your car and, oh, the oil's dirty. I should clean this and get new oil. It's still working. It's okay if that's dirty some. So over cleaning, not good for the bike.
Okay, and following on from that, Fozzie the Bear said, what's the best cleaning tip for midweek rides?
Best cleaning tip midweek rides, I would say, is your Family Man, the diaper wipes, or the hand wipes. So just get the bottle hand wipes, take them out, wipe, clean. It'll look good. You look really close, there's some dirt. Just stand back and it'll look good. So just a quick wipe down, that's all it needs.
Brilliant, okay. Now, Gustavsson said, how many times do you have to grease all the mechanical parts?
Boy, that is the tough one. If I throw out a number, you're just throwing spaghetti at a wall when it needs it. Okay, chain's a good example. It's gonna need it more. It's when it's dry. Even if it looks dirty, do I need to oil it? No, you still feel something on there, leave it alone. It can really vary. The bearings we talked about, You can pull them off. Those maybe 3 times a year would be good. If you're going to replace them once a year, then why bother? Yeah. So the pivots on the shifting, that's a good thing. So,
okay, so how about for us guys in the UK during the winter?
Yeah.
Water just seems to get in everywhere, and one that I've always had issues with on road bikes was headsets. Is that something you should maybe take apart, re-grease?
Yes, and the mounted cartridge headsets is very easy. Loosening this, dropping it down, wiping things off, almost a reboot. And then, though the cartridge is, again, if you can get inside that seal that we talked about and grease them, that's fine. But even greasing the outside so nothing gets stuck, that would be the thing to do.
Brilliant. Okay, we're moving on now. And this is from Coco Galas. And they said, can you use the same size chain on a 10-speed cassette versus an 11-speed cassette?
You can typically cheat a speed going one way, but not the other. So if I'm running a 9-speed here, I have a 10-speed chain, it's gonna work. You can't go the other way, all right? So I've got 10-speed in the back and a wider 9-speed chain, not gonna happen. So, but you can get away with one going the right way.
And what is the downside? Like, even if it does work, do you just have slight poorer shifting? Is that the...
It's gonna work in some gears, it's gonna rub, and it has more to do with the spacing. When these are really tightly sized gear ratio, not going to rub as much. When they're really tall next to each other, you're probably going to end up with some rub and more chain line issues. Okay. You get a little wider pin as you go wider and skinnier as you go down to the 12.
Okay, well, next question, and it involves this fantastic tool.
Yeah.
It's the Cyclone, and this one came in from Mark W, and he said, how do I use the Park Tool Cyclone chain cleaner so the chain doesn't fall off when they use it?
Right, that's a really good question. Some people have trouble with this. So we're going to talk about, again, remember our guide pulley and how things work in chain line, very much like that. So when you take this little device here, we're going to have solvent in it. It's going to have brushes that go around it and clean it.
So this solvent here, we'll be pouring that in?
Pour it in. We can install here, but if you're brand new to this tool, I would actually do this, totally dry, because then we can practice. So what I'm doing is having to learn how to steer. So if I'm not careful with the handle, if I pull over this way, guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna come off that front chainring. So you have to keep that chain straight. So if the chain's straight, all is good. If I get over here, it's gonna jam or fall off. So first, try it without anything. Just get used to it, holding it straight, then pour in your fluid and go to town. Another nice tip on this, run a degreaser first, right? We like ours or somebody else's. Pour it in a bottle, reuse it. If you let that settle, you can get several reuses out of it, right? The grit's gonna go to the bottom. So we have, we've attacked it with certain chemicals. You can use any kind of mild detergent and then rinse that. Afterwards, or even plain old water, if you get the little bitty fine grit in there, a second flush with a different chemical, H2O would be a chemical, it will help take out that grit, right? So two different flushes there, it's gonna be good to go.
Fantastic. And final question from It's Not Kylan, and they said, I can't change my bar tape. Do I need a new bike?
Well, a lot of technique there. Talk about the tapes and this, but you know what? He's right. You can't change it. You can't change a bar tape. Get a new bike.
Well, needless to say, that has been very interesting. I've certainly learned a lot. So thank you for sharing some of your maintenance wizardry with us, Calvin. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more videos from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe.
You want to see some drivetrain maintenance videos? Right here. Click right here.
And if you'd like to see our bike maintenance hacks video, just click down here.